Hello everyone and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. Today's video, we are going to take you on a 10-week journey through the restoration of this hoof right here. From her days as a heifer, all the way up to 10 weeks later when she's entered the milking parlor. We're going to show you this foot in the state it's in now, to fully formed, fully healed, fully restored hoof. Stay tuned. All right, so let's set the stage a little bit here. This heifer came in for her first trim of her entire life, about 2 months prior to having her first calf. That's pretty standard. We try to get them all the heifers trimmed so that when they do enter the milking parlor, they're in top-notch shape. But as you can see, she had some complications here. She's got a white line issue, so we're going to deal with that. So here is that mark in the white line, and we've got subsequent separation up above, so that tells us exactly what we need to know here. We need to pare this away. So as I mentioned earlier, on this day we are trimming heifers. Now a heifer is an animal that has yet to have their first calf. This particular barn, it's got 500 different heifers in there. That area they're standing at now, that is the feed lane. That's where they get their food, but they're free to roam throughout this entire area. So while you're only usually seeing me work on one particular animal, there are usually hundreds around me. And that's what you can hear in the background, all these other cows living their lives. So this trim was taking place the beginning of July, that very first week, and that means the heat of the summer in Wisconsin. And what does that mean? That means cows, heifers in this case, are on their feet a lot more, and that's going to lead to a higher incidence rate of these white line defects. Typically, you're not going to see those in heifers, but like I said, when you've got heifers on their feet more, trying to get that heat off of their bodies, you're going to see an uptick in these. So that's likely the cause of this. The lesion we need to free up is tucked up underneath this wall horn, so we're going to need to take that away. But first, let's get a block on that other claw. You probably all know the next steps. That's right, we're going to clean this up with some chlorhexidine and get it wrapped with some salicylic acid. All right, here we've got 8592, leaving the chute first week of July. Next up, her 4-week recheck. One of the first things you'll notice, she's lost her block. But it must have been recent because usually if they lose their blocks early, it's going to impede the progress. This one looks pretty good. Got good firmness in this claw, and we got a lot of good new horn growth, which is exactly what we want to see. So the primary objective of a recheck at this point is just to clean up any residual cracks that might be there and make sure that her progress is going along as planned. We want to make sure there's nothing that's going to hinder the full recovery of this, and luckily for her, everything looks pretty darn good. It's obviously not a fully formed, perfect-looking sole yet, but we're going to get there. Here's where that lesion was. We've got good horn growth all the way across that. And as I mentioned, this hoof is firmed up. When she walked in, she was walking in perfectly, so I'm not worried about putting another block on, and I just let her go. Now this next trim we're going to look at is 6 weeks later, 10 weeks from that initial trim. And as you can see, this foot is almost back to perfect shape. Just a slight indentation from where our knife work was, but if you look at those heel bulbs, they're nice, fully intact, with good heel depth. This is where that lesion was. You can see that's all gone now. Good horn there. There's a slight mark there. That's just from my knife work from those original trims, but all that horn underneath is nice and clean. Now if we go back, remember what this foot looked like back then? Well, it didn't look so good. This is what it looked like when we started. And this is what it looks like now. Couldn't ask for better. This heifer, this cow I should say now, is producing milk for all of us to enjoy. And that's going to do it, guys. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you all on the next one.